We have a beautiful double cut bone-in pork chop right over here. And I'm just gonna take some paper towels and dry the meat off really well. And what that's going to do, it's going to help all that beautiful flavor and marinade that we're going to add to it stick to the meat better. So I have my herbs over here. I'm using rosemary, thyme, and oregano, but I always like to say, use any herbs that you have. Sage would be fantastic, even some parsley. I think even all oregano or some chives would be really nice. And I'm just using my mezzaluna to really get a nice fine chop, or you can use a regular chef's knife, but get a nice fine chop. Make sure there's no stems in there, just like that. And no big pieces. And we're going to use the herbs, add some salt and pepper, and rub it all over our pork chops. Herbs are chopped. I wound up adding some crushed garlic, and now I'm gonna add a little avocado oil. And if you don't have avocado oil, olive oil would be delicious. And because we're gonna rub this all over our pork chops, I'm gonna do a good pinch of kosher salt and some black pepper. Whisk this all together and then rub it all over your pork chop. Add your beautiful herby marinade right to your pork chop. And chef's best tool is clean hands. So we're gonna rub this all over. Meanwhile, we're getting our oven nice and hot, and we're going to put our cast iron skillet in there because we wanna sear this pork chop in a nice hot skillet. And to go with our herby pork chops, I'm gonna add some more aromatic. So I have some shallots here. I'm just gonna cut the end off and then take that first outer layer off. And then I'm just gonna cut these, if they're small, in half, or if you have larger ones, into quarters. So they're nice big wedges, just like that. And I have some really pretty varieties of pears here. So I'm just gonna leave this really rustic. I'm gonna cut these in half and then in quarters. And I'm gonna take the core out. So I'm gonna take my knife and just go on a diagonal and then just take all those seeds out right there. And then I'll just cut these the same way as I did the shallots in big wedges. Just like that. The oven is nice and hot. We're temping it. And right now the floor is about 580 degrees. So we're gonna get a nice sear on the pork chop. The pan's nice and hot. We're gonna take it out, sear it, and as the fire gets a little lower to about 400 degrees is when we're going to cook the internal temperature of the pork chop. Oh yeah, that's the seary one. All right, right back in the oven, sear it for a few minutes, flip it over, and then we're gonna add all those delicious flavorings. It's been cooking for about 3 minutes. Wow, that is a beautiful crust. That's beautiful. We're gonna pop it back in the oven, let it sear for another good 4 to 5 minutes, and then we're gonna add all the other flavorings. That looks amazing. It smells amazing. Oh, that is beautiful. I have a mixture over here of some apple cider, a little apple cider vinegar, and some mustard. We're gonna pour that right in, just like that. And now we're gonna add all those beautiful pears and shallots, and everything's going to cook down together. Beautiful. We'll check in about 10 minutes. We're gonna put this on the cooler side of the oven so it can cook fully in the middle. Oh, this looks beautiful. So good. We're gonna finish it off with just a little bit of fresh thyme right on top. And that's it. We'll let this cool for a little bit and we'll have some dinner. How's that sound? Sounds pretty good.